Do you, Laura? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It turned out well. I'm surprised.
Okay, so it's 9:01, so we'll call the meeting to order. The municipality of Tweed recognizes that our work takes place on traditional Indigenous territories, including Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all Indigenous peoples whose presence continues to enrich our communities. Oh, we'll all rise for O Canada.
Through patriot love, in all vast command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on our own. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard. Holy, oh, Canada, we stand on guard.
Approval of the regular council meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Fleeler, Councillor Palmetier. Any items to discuss? None noted. All in favor? Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? None noted. Adoption of the minutes from November 26, 2024 regular council meeting and December 4th, 2024 council meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Palmetier, Councillor Valiquette. Anything on those? None noted. All in favor? Carried. Notification of a closed meeting. Council will hold a closed meeting during the regular council meeting pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to consider the following matters: labor relations or employee negotiations. Deputy Mayor remarks. First off, I want to just start off by just acknowledging that Mayor DeGenova is feeling a little under the weather, but he is joining us via remotely today for as long as he can hold out. And we can see him in the background there. On November 28th, I attended County Council for the mayor. November 29th, we had a special council meeting. December 5th, I attended the grand opening with the Festival of Trees along with Councillor Valiquette. And on December 7th, we had the Santa Claus Parade, and I was joined by Councillor Valiquette and Councillor Fleeler. First off, I just want to comment on the Festival of Trees. I think they went, and I think the others will agree with me in this room, that this is a fabulous event. These ladies go above and beyond every year, everybody involved. The amount of money that they raised for our community is just astronomical. And this year was above and beyond expectations for every year prior to them. So we thank them from the bottom of our hearts for everything they've done. Also, I wanted to send a thank you to our community development assistant, Cindy Chow, and Jim Keniston, and everybody who was involved in that Santa Claus parade this year. I don't think I'm alone in saying this is probably the best Santa Claus parade we've had in recent memory, and the street was jam packed. Wanted to thank Bylaw. We also wanted to thank the OPP for their assistance in traffic control. And I wanted to thank MP Cramp and MPP Breesy for their participation in attendance as well. And also for MPP Breesy for his assistance with helping us make it happen this year for permits and stuff. Also on Saturday, we had Candy Cane Lane, and we had a multitude of vendors over at the agricultural building. The Legion had events on, and so did Rajat's Home Hardware. All in the festive season. We live in such an amazing community that everybody feels the festive spirit, and they give back in any way they can. And again, I don't know what else more you can say other than we just have an incredible municipality, and for the amount of participation we had, there was something going on at all times, and it was just amazing to watch. I just have a quick announcement here. As you all now are aware, our CAO Treasurer Gloria Raybone will be leaving us effective January the 3rd, 2025. Council has made the decision to engage a retired CAO to aid in this transition while we begin the process of selection of our new and permanent CAO. At this time, beginning today, Tuesday, December the 10th, 2024, Council has engaged Kelly Pender to work along with Gloria to ensure this transition is a smooth one. Effective January the 4th, 2025, Kelly will then become our intern and acting CAO. Gloria remains in her current role as CAO and treasurer until then. Kelly is a highly experienced CAO with over 30 years of CAO experience with the town of Perth, the town of Huntsville, and more recently as CAO of Frontenac County until his recent retirement that we pulled him out of this recent summer. He will certainly be a wealth of knowledge moving us forward. Welcome aboard, Kelly. We look forward to working you and moving us forward. We also want to thank Gloria for all her service and guidance over the past years, and we wish her so much success, health, and happiness in her new role in Renfrew. And just to close it all off, this is our final council meeting prior to the holiday season. So on behalf of council and the staff of the municipality of Tweed, we want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and healthy and happy holidays. Thank you. Moving on. Notices of motion. This is actually a notice of motion from me. So we need a seconder to get it on the table to discuss. Councillor Fleeter is a second. So because this is my notice, I'll speak to it. No, where is it? So speaking, I think this came about for me more so during the election and speaking to people that live in those areas. The GPSs that we have today reroute traffic through the shortest route possible coming through this area. And unfortunately, they're routing them up Marlbank Road and Moneymore Road. And as we know, those roads were not designed for constant heavy traffic. So the intent, I'm not, as you all know, I'm not a big lover of putting in bylaws that we can't enforce. However, anywhere I've seen these signs up, there seems to be they seem to be quite effective. And I think in this case, the signage alone might, even if we take some off the road, it prolongs the life of our roads and on those two areas, and will have long-lasting benefits to our financial position. So if anybody else wants to speak to it, then, it's Councillor Velikat.
To the mayor, to the manager of public works. Ryan, do you have any opinion or suggestions about this, or any observations that you've made that support it?
Through the deputy mayor to the chair. I guess there's benefits on both sides. I think it's going to be very hard to police something like that and actually enforce it. Just a few things that would kind of improve on our end. We'd have a better roadside safety, probably reduce damage like the deputy mayor said, reduce wear on infrastructure. enhance traffic flow. We wouldn't see the amount of traffic going through those areas, but on the other side of the coin, there could be economic effects. We could see, disruptions to supply chains, increased costs for businesses having to bring business around the area instead. And I think the biggest thing is just going to be policing that and actually enforcing it will be the concern for me.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Counselor Fleeler.
Mayor DeMarsh, I brought this up years ago and just for the simple reason that we don't have roads that are built to handle this type of traffic. Even this morning, I was coming in here and I met a transport coming down my road, East Hungerford Road, looking for St. Carthage School. So he's tagged his GPS, but Hungerford Street, East Hungerford Road, Old Hungerford Road, it creates confusion. So, I mean, and he wondered how he's gonna get out of there. And I told him to go around the Kerry Side Road and come back on the Marbank Road, the only way he could do it. So, but understandably, the roads aren't built for that kind of stuff. And I expressed my opinion that local traffic only, so people have loggers on site, you have the guys in, you buy firewood, you truck cattle, you truck fertilizer, you truck all kinds of things. It's local traffic. And I agree with the roads manager, it's gonna be tough to police this kind of thing, but we don't have the money to resurface our roads to start with, and we sure don't have enough money to get them up to standard where they could, be acceptable to this type of traffic, but I don't know, we could work out something to try to enforce this some way.
Anybody else? Counselor Palmetier?
Deputy Mayor, in your experience with the OPP, I know that they reroute the traffic off the 401 to Moneymore Road, just across and back up Shannonville Road. We won't have any jurisdiction over them, will we?
No.
That'll still happen, won't it?
Yeah, we won't have any jurisdiction. And like the Public Works Manager said, this is almost a hard one to enforce. But I think just where I've seen areas where the signs are even up, it just seems to be a real big reduction in heavy truck traffic going through. And I know from talking to some of them that the GPSs are just routing them that way. And I think once the signs are up and they realize, oh, we're not supposed to come this way, I hope that it reduces that load. Even if it reduces it some, it's going to help the long livelihood of our roads, and enforcement's going to be, as you have spoken to, is very difficult to enforce. But so doing something for those two roads is better than nothing, in my opinion. But it's up to the rest of council too.
No.
Mayor, you have something to say?
Yes, I do, if I may. I have concerns about doing anything like that only because they are major routes connecting highway to highway. And then I think of all of the other equipment, heavy equipment that we have going down there, like, big farm equipment, our own trucks, our own trailers and stuff. And then people going to the dump. And so I just think what I would rather see us do is approach the Ministry of Transportation and say that we are finding ourselves in a position that we may have to redirect traffic because we do not have the funds to keep the roads up to accommodate the kind of traffic we've been getting, and get a response from them first about looking at helping us make those roads a little more sustainable. But I do have concerns about doing that, and I agree, there's no way we're going to monitor it. So we're strapped for coin. And I think it's going to cost us a fair bit to put up all these signs. And I'd rather see us redirecting our money at this time to things that are more critical. But that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay.
One final piece, Deputy Mayor.
Councilor Palmetier?
A concern I have with these signs is trucks that are not from the area that may be delivering to a site. They see those signs and it becomes a concern for them that they can't get through to that spot, or there's not the ability for that vehicle to get there. So that's another concern that I have with the signs.
Okay. Anybody else? So what we could do is look at options to reduce, I don't know if there's a way to put some of the mayor's things in action. That the intent of this was just to reduce the load on those roads. Maybe there's other options like the mayor said. And maybe we could submit to the GPS company somehow that this isn't a through road necessarily, like an actual route, but Mayor, do you have anything else to add? No, okay. So my suggestion, we could defer this for further investigation, just to see what we could do to keep the loads off these roads, and we'll, if everybody's okay with that, we'll just defer this motion. Okay? All in favor? Carried for deferral. Delegations and petitions. So our first delegation, it was invited by us. I just want to welcome Staff Sergeant Trudeau to the podium, and Staff Sergeant Trudeau is our new detachment commander. I just invited him in today as a welcome aboard and a meet and greet, and any quick concerns that council had. And I know Sean's a local boy, born and raised here, and so his love for the area is quite evident. So I'll turn it over to Sean for introduction.
Okay, thank you, Deputy. Just want to say it's been my pleasure to come back here. I've worked here for 13 years. Somebody in this room was also my boss formerly, so but it's a pleasure to come back and give back to the community. I've been on a long journey to come around back full circle. So as the deputy was saying, I've grown up here and lived here and had businesses here, and my home is here. So obviously my heart is in this community. So I'm gonna work hard. So hey, the green light was on. That's all you asked me to do. You didn't say about the mic, so anyways, yeah, so that's about it really for the most part. I just want to say I'm really happy to work with everybody. I know we have some some things to work through moving forward with the CSPA, and some things we got to kind of manage and stuff. It's going to be a learning curve for me a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to it's a great community here, and I have a lot of welcome faces here, and looking forward to working with everybody and how we can make things better. So
Thank you. Council, anything?
Pleasure to have you as our acting sergeant. I'm sure you can help us quite a bit.
thank you, Counselor. Yeah.
Mayor?
Hi, Sean. I just wanted to say welcome as well. You've been a major asset in our community for quite some time, and I'm glad that you're taking over at this point. And we look very forward to working with you. And I know we're going to have a stellar working relationship. And again, thank you. We look forward to great things happening with the OPP in our area now that you're going to be there.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, I'm feelings mutual. So
Anything else? Councillor Valcat.
I just want to say welcome. Sean and I have a long relationship for as long as I've been in this community, so 20 some odd years now. Sean was a constable, worked for me, and was an example for everybody in the detachment. And I'm well anticipating that in his new role as the detachment commander, staff sergeant, that you will continue, and I'm very confident that you will, with all those wonderful qualities that we've all seen for years. And good luck.
thank you. Thank you.
No, we're good. Councillor Palmetier.
I guess I'm not a good politician if I don't say anything, but welcome, Sean. Really exciting to see somebody from the community back in the community. As you know, growing up here, there's so much more in small towns than like there's so much more in depth to knowing the people and everything like that. So I think it's really important that we finally gotten back to that, and it's kind of exciting going forward. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. I know I had a lot of support from everybody here, and I know the deputy and the mayor and everybody was pulling for me. So it works. So thank you.
Very good. Nothing else? Oh, Mayor?
I think you guys should do a photo op.
Okay. You want to be in it?
Yeah, no, don't worry about me, but do a photo op.
Yeah. Take a screenshot of that. Oh, okay.
Oh my God, Sean, you're much older.
You did that same thing on camera.
I have my hair Photoshop back in. I love that too. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Off to me, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Morgan. Does anybody have any questions or before I?
No, I think
any
we're all,
concerns, or-
we just want to thank you for coming in today, Sean. We really appreciate it. And like the mayor says, we look forward to a really good working relationship with Central Hastings.
Okay, thanks. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, yeah.
Karen's here. Okay, next, council will present a certificate of appreciation to Karen Fisher of Ontario Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Agribusiness and Ministry of Rural Affairs, OMAFRA, on her retirement of the many years of support of the municipality of Tweed. So, Karen, well, and,
I've
yeah,
asked Jim to
yeah,
make a couple of
yeah,
comments as
so,
well.
well, Jim, do you want to go up and make a presentation?
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, that's good. Yep, so it's a pleasure to have you with us again this morning. You bring a lot of energy when you, I've said that and I made you cry once and I apologize for that, but I was happy I did it. So in the
Karen,
mayor's,
get in there with Jim.
pardon?
Karen, get in there with Jim. There we go.
Okay, in the mayor's words, the Ontario East Economic Development Commission, Deer Review Committee, I have the distinct privilege and honor to write a letter of support for nomination of Karen Fisher for the Ontario East Economic Developer of the Year. I have worked with Karen over 15 years in my capacity as a volunteer, municipal councillor, and mayor. Karen gave selflessly of her time and energy in helping the municipality and many others address the economic issues and hurdles that keep small rural communities from reaching their full potential. Karen helped me write our community improvement plan, which has been very successful as a tool to help local businesses and with facade improvements, accessibility enhancements, and store signage. This grant loan program has had a huge uptake in our municipality. We benefit from her economic development courses. She guided us through our downtown improvement and revitalization initiative. Karen helped the municipality prepare its economic development strategy plan. She was instrumental in the successful creation and delivery of our business retention and expansion project. The project where we also looked at the needs to help our agricultural community. Karen coordinated 2 first impression projects for the municipality, one with the village of Tweed and the other with our Queensboro hamlet. She was also a great sounding board during the development of our integrated community sustainability plan. Karen was key to many of our successful OMAFRA Red Grant applications. She was also instrumental promoting the municipality of Tweed to host our 2 teeny tiny summits. These were mini conferences designed to bring small rural communities together to discuss issues facing rural communities. Our municipality is grateful for her passion, commitment, and encouragement when it came to addressing our economic challenges. On behalf of the residents of the municipality of Tweed Council, we enthusiastically support the nomination of Karen Fisher as the Ontario East Developer of the Year. Yours truly, our Mayor, Don T. Genova. Thank you so much. And Don, our mayor said I had to give you a hug from him, and here's one from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Just so everyone knows, Karen did receive the award this year, which was wonderful to see at the Ontario East Municipal Conference in September. And it was great to see her up there getting that recognition because there were many letters of support that were there for her that day. So congratulations, Karen. I'm so sorry I can't be there. You're one of my favorites. Photo op, gang, photo
I
op.
won't be a stranger, I promise.
I know you won't. I know where you live and I have your phone numbers.
I don't know if you want them to know where you live.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know where he lives too, so.
Everybody get in there. Or you gonna read it, Jim? Go ahead.
So here, I'll just read this. The municipality of Tweed congratulates Karen Fisher. Thank you for your steadfast commitment to assisting the municipality of Tweed with its economic development over the past 15 years. You are the gift that keeps on giving. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. You will be greatly missed. And you are the gift that keeps on giving.
Thank you so much.
Especially at Christmas.
Yes, I know. I love
There
it
you
so.
go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
You were in behind, Jim up there. Jim lets it up here.
Is it okay if I say a few words? I'll just stand over here by the. I can't not. For those of you who know me well, but I can't not. It's great. There it is. Okay, I want to take a moment just to say, thank you. It's been a really, I have always cherished this relationship with this municipality, because there is so much commitment in the municipality to make this a better place for residents, visitors, and the business community. So, you know, in my work over the years, it's always been really easy to support the municipality and to support the hamlets and to support organizations and people in this community because everybody cares so much. And despite and I know you're well aware, the challenges that continue to be thrown at communities. Tweed is always a bright light because you're always taking steps forward and you're accomplishing amazing things. And I recall my conversation with Dawn at the Teeny Tiny Summit in June. And, I said to Dawn, so talk to me a little bit about, what are your passion projects? And, Dawn had it took him 10 minutes to talk about all the great things that are happening in this municipality, despite the fact that, we're filled with so many challenges at all times. So keep on keeping on because you are really truly doing great things, and sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees, but it has been such a pleasure to work with this community, this municipality, with most of you. I think we've crossed paths in the different projects that I've worked on with the municipality. And remember, it's not me. It's you that is, the leader, and kind of the winner, so to speak, in the end, because you are the ones that are continuously working towards these great end goals. So thank you again for inviting me here, for the recognition, and I will miss you as well. But again, I won't be a stranger. So my last day is January 31, but I plan to come and visit often. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next delegation is Quinty Field Naturalists. I think your name's John. Yeah. Hi, John. Hello. Oh, he's there.
Heritage Genova and counselors and staff, on behalf of the Quinty Field Naturalists, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. My name is John Blaney, and I'm a member of the Quinty Field Naturalists. We're asking that you allow birders access to locations where they can see and study birds attracted to the lagoons. Earlier in the year, staff asked the Ontario Clean Water Agency for an opinion regarding that access. And their response recognized the value of the possibilities for wildlife viewing there, But they also stressed a number of safety concerns. And in this presentation, I want to address those safety concerns. First of all, I hear that the, pardon me, I'm here. I believe that possibly the OCWA did not really understand what we were requesting. We're not asking to be able to walk around the lagoons. We're not going to be roaming all over the property. We simply would like access to 3 spots at the end of each lagoon where we can look in and see what's there. And the reason is simple, the reason for the request. Birders love sewage lagoons. Only one person smiled. A little surprising, but okay. Anyway, birders love sewage lagoons. But birds love sewage lagoons, and birds love sewage lagoons because of the microorganisms that live there. It's a real banquet for them. There is a possibility for some birding tourism. Many birders travel to pursue their hobby. I'm from Belleville, for instance. I'm up here reasonably often to just see what's in the lagoons. Last time I looked, they were empty because they were half frozen, but that's besides the point. A lot of people use eBird to keep track of their sightings. And eBird is an online database used by about 1 million people worldwide. And in that database, certain spots are identified as birding hotspots. In other words, they're places where you can go to see birds. The Tweed sewage lagoons are birding hotspots. As an example, perhaps for my September Hastings County bird list, I need a green-winged teal. I check eBird. They're in the sewage lagoons. So here I am. I did look into the eBird records and I found that birders from Brighton, Belleville, Napanee, Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa have been to the lagoons. And I suspect that particularly for the people from the more distant places, they got their information from eBird. eBird is also part of a citizen science project, and they crowdsourced data to be used by researchers to determine what's happening to bird populations and companion. And just this weekend, I received an email from Mike Burrell. Now, birders may recognize the name, you probably won't. But he's currently the project biologist for the provincial government's naturalist at the Information Center. As a volunteer, he's also on the board of the Ontario Field Ornithologists. And that's a volunteer organization dedicated to the study of birds. And he's offered a letter of support for our request. That, I think, indicates that the data gathered at sewage lagoons is important province-wide. So you'd be contributing to a province-wide database. There's an educational part of our request. With birds concentrated in a small area, like sewage lagoons, it's primarily waterfowl and shorebirds. People are able to see the difference between similar species and to study just generally about the needs of birds. I did mention earlier that birders travel. Of course, there are people who prefer not to travel or can't travel. And it would be advantageous for them if there was a local place where they could go to see birds that are generally shorebirds, very difficult to find in this country. So good reasons, I think, to allow access, but there's still that nagging liability problem. And what I want to point out is that despite the dangers raised by OCWA, several municipalities have found ways to free themselves from the problem. And I have submitted 4 examples. Generally, the rules that they set up are consistent with some minor variations. They require birders to carry a permit when they are on the premises. And before you receive a permit, you must get a signed waiver. And that absolves the municipality and its employees for responsibility from any problems. The list of rules includes things like any damage you do, you pay. Leave the site in the condition you find it, don't discard it in what it's calculated. And generally, the permit applies only to birding. There's no hunting, no firearms, no vehicles. In one place, they even say no bicycles. So failure to follow those rules can result in a person being banned from the sewage lagoons. And if it's a serious offense, it could very well result in the closure of these lagoons, visitors. Amherst View, east of, probably west of Kingston, solves the liability problem by limiting access to members of the Kingston field naturalists who do have insurance. There's a code that you have to enter into the law to get into the facility. And as far as I can tell, I haven't been in myself, but as far as I can tell, the code changes regularly and you have to get the information from the Kingston. So we just, pretty field naturalists just don't have the resources to do that kind of thing. Important point though, Amherst View has found a way to let birders in. So the non-Quan lagoons at Port Perry, similar kinds of arrangements. But the permit fee there is $15. Everything's done online. Brighton doesn't allow access around the initial treatment lagoon, but they do allow access to trails around the secondary treatment lagoon, known as the Brighton constructed wetland. Permit in this case is $5 and buy it at the municipal office, it's not online. The wetland in Brighton has other dangers outlined by the OCWA. The water is still too polluted to drink. When you do something stupid, you can get sick. And of course, with water, you can still drown. So they don't believe there's a problem as long as you signed a waiver. And there you can walk all around the lagoon. The permit for the Blenheim lagoons in southwestern Ontario was free. But same responsibilities. I included in my original presentation picture showing the entrance gate at the Blenheim lagoons. And it's just a small pedestrian gate, wide enough for a single person. It's on page 2 if you're looking at the submission I sent you. And that's entirely sufficient for what we're asking. It's all right beside the vehicle fee, little expense, and pretty field naturalists is willing to share in that expense. So I had 3 goals. I wanted to clear up what appeared to be a misunderstanding of what we were requesting. Just 3 places to stand. Second, I wanted to explain why birders access was beneficial. There's some tourist possibilities. It's an opportunity to learn about birds, simply a chance to enjoy the beauty and diversity of the birds you have. And finally, I just want to stress that other municipalities have found ways around the objections that OCWA raised. So thank you again for agreeing to hear us. Merry Christmas and stay healthy.
Council, any questions for Mr. Blaney? Councilor Belacat.
Through the deputy. Sir, I'm just kind of curious, the other locations that are allowing birders in, are those facilities managed by Aqua as well?
I really don't know. Must be good.
I've been doing a quick check on that. The 4 listed are all ones that do not have contracted services for their water and wastewater. And so therefore that would be all managed in-house. Their own insurance would be covering. Our concern here is that it's Aqua's insurance that's covering that facility, not ours. And their concern was if we allowed access, they would drop our insurance and then we might even lose the contract and we would have to hire some internal staff to manage the facilities.
Okay, Mayor DeGenova, you had something?
Yes, if I may. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. John, is it possible to reach out to the field naturalist groups in the areas that you're citing and have them do a walking video to give us a better perspective on what they actually do and what they see as a result of relations that they have developed with neighboring communities? That would give us maybe something to reflect on so we could see how we might be able to make it work here without infringing on any concerns that Aqua may have. Is that a possibility?
Certainly I could do that, yes, and since over the winter, the lagoons aren't suitable for birding, I could do that over the winter and bring back that information in the spring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Councillor Fleeler.
Through the deputy mayor, the biggest concern here is the insurance, and we have our broker with us today. I wonder if it would be possible to get our insurance broker, Aqua, the Quinnifield naturalists and a rep from council to sit down and go over the request to see if it's acceptable or not. Like, if we had all 4 parties at the table, we'd be able to fine tune it and go through everything and yay or nay. I don't know if that would be.
Okay. Well, I think the key thing, Counselor, was that what the CAO had just said was their insurance covers that site, so it'd be something we'd have to work with them for.
Yeah,
Right?
but I think we would also be in it as well, being the owner.
Where was, we did discuss it right now.
Yeah.
It's all on Aqua?
But I see merit in what Councillor Fleeler is saying.
Yeah.
Let's pull people together. Let's get the videos. Let's pull people together, all parties that he has identified, which I think is a good list. And let's just talk it out and see. I don't want to say nay without really having done our homework. But
Oh, yeah,
Aqua will
yeah.
be at the table. It's not like we would be making a decision without their direction. So I like what Councillor Fleeler is proposing. I would be prepared to look into that if everybody else is.
Okay, so anybody else? Okay. So we'll, oh, go ahead, John.
Certainly I can contact Aqua and see which municipalities are covered under their insurance and see what arrangements are being made there.
Okay, thanks, John. So council will discuss and look at all options like we has been brought up today, and we will let you know how that goes and hopefully work together, maybe make something work. Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Next delegation, Ryan Gerald from McDougall Insurance. Welcome, Ryan.
Hard to believe it's another year.
So Ryan's here to speak to us about our municipal insurance.
Yeah. First of all, I just wanted to thank Gloria. We've worked together for quite a few years. Sorry to see you leave, but wish you well. It hasn't been easy last few years with insurance, so we work pretty closely together, quite a bit throughout the year, and Kendall as well here from McDougall's. There's a lot of daily interactions sometimes and a lot of questions and a lot of, she deals with a lot with changes throughout the year and, your point of contact for claims and handling those. So I just, it's been a pleasure working with you and, wish you all the best and working with you guys. So haven't formally met, but yeah, so I'm from McDougall's and Madoc. So we look after the municipal insurance program. I think it's been going 15, 20 years now. We're looking at our 3rd renewal with Marsh Insurance, which is the primary insurance, municipal insurance company in Ontario and Canada. I did a quick summary. I think you guys might have. There's a full proposal that gets into a lot more detail But just to keep things, you know, kind of short and concise, we're looking at basically the same packages year over year. Primarily unchanged is the limit of liability, which the municipality carries $50 million. This is a encompassing package that includes your general liability. Somebody may have had commercial insurance or had previously. A municipal insurance policy is pretty similar with some additional inclusions of environmental. You talked about, you know, the sewage lagoons. You know, that's obviously something where an environmental liability policy would cover those things. Anything, you know, errors and emissions, abuse liability, the list goes on. There's several different coverages. Total limit of 50 million with a $10,000 deductible. This would be the most active policy in a municipal package as far as claims, which results in the largest premium. This year, relatively low increase at a 5% increase over last year, which is good. If you recall some previous years, this has seen significant increases, sometimes 5, 10, 15, 20, 30%. So we were happy to see with 5% this year. Something that Gloria goes over every year and we make changes and review is the list of properties that the municipality owns. We have just over $30 million in properties insured right now. So that increased 6% inflation this year, and that's changed year over year. They automatically give us a limit that they feel is necessary, but it's ultimately the municipality's decision on how much to insure each building for. So we work closely with Gloria. There's about $3 million in equipment as well, and that would include, you know, public works, anything not licensed for the road. So that was just a flat 6% inflation on the building limits, and then no rate increase. Basically, it was just the limit of inflation. So that is 87,158 for the year. Next would be our auto renewal. And that's through Aviva under Marsh, and they're very little difference this year. And that's, again, we work with Gloria over the year to any additions, vehicles, drivers. We take that list, submitted it to the company. And that covers, you know, you're still under that $50 million limit of liability, $500 or $5,000 deductible for any auto loss. Also pretty active as far as claims, not specifically here, but in general, auto claims are big. Specifically auto theft, you know, and rates in general and have gone up in this area due to cost of parts. If anyone's got had any claims recently, you know that the process is a lot slower. Auto theft is a significant issue in Canada. Now they're working on some things to try to mitigate that, but overall, that's still a high losses in the insurance industry, high cost of vehicles. So this policy there's very little increase over the previous year, 23,000 for all the vehicles, which is very cheap. There's miscellaneous. There's other package under the program. Council accident policy. There's an events policy that's under this where third parties are renting facilities, the municipal facilities, you know, they would have coverage under this policy. You know, there's crime, there's several of these little smaller policies that this is unchanged, $4,538. So basically 6% inflation of buildings, you know, the 6.8% total increase over last year, bringing the total to 429,824, which is the lowest increase we've seen in several years. So we were happy with that. And, you know, the fact that things have seemed to kind of level out as far as rate increases for municipal coverage. We have a cyber policy in place as well that renews at a different date, but that's also leveled out as well. We've seen significant increases there, and it's an active policy for municipalities as the claims and cyber insurance have increased over the last few years. We've been lucky here, but, you know, that's something that, you know, in-house, any of your IT department, keep an eye on that stuff because municipalities are targeted significantly across the province. Bridges, not currently insured. we do have the ability to insure bridges. I know the municipality of Tweed has several of them, and we have looked into pricing on it in the past. It is quite expensive. But just to be aware, that is something that we could cover under this policy. PFA exclusions, perfluorinated compounds, that was applied 4 or 5 years ago under all commercial general liability policies. It was the chemicals that are like the forever chemicals that get into the ground. Fire departments use them at some point for fire retardants, but that was excluded under this policy and always has been. Any questions?
Council, any questions? Councillor Palmetier.
Through the deputy mayor, thanks for coming in today. 50 million general liability. I was just wondering where we come up with the number 50, and especially for a municipality our size with our budget. I think 50 million is 4 years of the dollar's return. So I'm just curious of where that number comes from.
Yep. So what they do is they do a 5 million general liability policy. And I would say that's 95% of the premium for that first 5 million. And then there's a $20 million umbrella that covers on top of all the policies, a couple $1,000s a year, and then a $20 million, the top up to the 50 for a couple $1,000s a year. If you wanted to drop that down to like say 25 million, I wouldn't suggest going any lower than that. You'd save maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a year. Very, very low cost for that additional layer. And that's Marsh's standard limit of liability. We previously, their Intact had 4 years ago, their limit was 25. Marsh just, their standard is 50. But yeah, it's a good question, because if you did want to lower that, you'd think that it would be higher premium, but there's less premium associated with that additional layer, because it's very, very low chances of it, that policy ever being enacted.
Well, I guess with that, Deputy Mayor, the reason I ask is our municipality does fairly well at avoiding these kinds of issues. So I just wondered how the insurance, whether you as a broker representing us or the insurance companies, like obviously they don't lose. So we we're working, the insurance company uses our money to cover others. And I wondered how they set a value on a municipality like ours that isn't a high risk, or how you defend us when you're dealing with these, that so that, like, obviously we're going to carry the load for smaller municipalities, but so we don't carry more load.
Yeah. So I don't know how, like, as far as involvement you have with the claim side of things, 10 years of losses kind of equate to what your ratings are going to look like on your liability. So going back 10, 15 years, some of these claims, they trail, they can take 5 to 10 years by the time they get through the courts. So they take a running look at what is the 10-year, 15-year snapshot of losses equate to what you paid in premium. That got corrected a few years ago, where that's when there was some significant increases. And that's why we end up having to go to a different company to look at savings. I can't recall exactly, but it was significant savings moving to Marsh. Yes, it is still very expensive, but it's there's Intact and Marsh. We have as a broker, I do my best to keep you guys in the cheapest, with the best coverage, with the cheapest company. We're limited on municipality. 15, 20 years ago, there were several companies. As losses in the municipal space grew, a lot of companies got out of it. So we basically have to take what the best option we have, and that was Marsh. As far as losses go, that premium is associated with the claims that have been here in the past 15 years. So.
Anybody else? Mayor, you had something?
Yes, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. First of all, Ryan, thank you very much for coming today. And I must admit, you often don't hear this, but the increase, I'm pleased to see that it's not what we have experienced in the past. You're perfectly correct. And last year when we were tendering, you came in at almost $100,000 less than what we were going to have to pay with our former insurance company. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for keeping and working to keep the increase as reasonable as you possibly can, especially considering everything that's happening within the industry today, insurance industry with forest fires and other climatic events that are taking a toll on municipalities across this country. One of the things I wanted to ask you, and I'm not sure if we approached you on this, we've had Queensborough, who has Queensborough Day. And they were wondering, is there a possibility to have a blanket insurance policy that covers the whole community? Because what they do on Queensborough Day is they have different events set up throughout the town, the hamlet, and people go visit these different events and participate in some way or whatever. Is there a possibility to get an insurance policy that on that day that they had this blanket insurance policy, because it is a significant event basically for the municipality as well as the hamlet of Queensborough?
Yeah, so we get this question quite a bit, different municipalities hosting events. I mentioned there briefly, there is an event policy that the municipality carries, very relatively cheap, that covers any event, not any event, but specifically events, people renting facilities owned by the municipality on municipal property. Gloria and I did discuss this event, and it would not fall under this policy due to the fact that some of the operations happen on private property. So that would be excluded and that would be covered under their own policy. In this case, for an event like that, we do have a company that we would have specific event policies through. So it would be a separate policy for an event like something like that. They would underwrite it individually on everything that's happening, from, who is attending, what kind of exposures there are, such as events, such as, horses, drawn carriages, whatever it might be. And then they would underwrite it individually. We can put those policies in place, or whoever hosts can do that themselves. If this is not the municipality hosting the event, then, it's not covered under your general insurance. If it's a third party hosting the event, they would need to obtain insurance and also name the municipality as additional insured if it's on municipal property. Cost wise, you're looking at an event like that, maybe $300 for the weekend or whatever it is,
Okay.
depending, but yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You have something, Gloria?
I was just going to add some further clarification to the question that Councillor Palmentier had, that it's not unusual for, say, a car accident on a road where there was 4 people in the vehicle, 2 of them were kids, they all got severely injured. It wouldn't be unusual nowadays to see that claim coming in looking for a $20 or $30 million court case that you're looking at. So that's why we have these extra umbrella pieces for these one-off cases that we hope to not have to deal with. But when you talk about a car accident where there's several people, especially children, where then they could be looking at a lot longer medical expense of dealing with stuff, that it's not unusual in nowadays dollars to see these large claims come in. Our insurance has always been very good with their lawyers to try to settle everything much lower than what the court cases would originally come in at. But that's why that umbrella policy does exist, is if you have that one weird one-off, we want to be protected, because nowadays the numbers are much higher in those claims than what they used to be 10 years ago even. So
Yeah, and the other thing too is the amount of roads in this municipality, that's where that big one's going to be. If a big liability, if someone's critically injured, may or may not have been a sign there. The road, the shoulder was a little bit, loose gravel, things like that, where if there's someone significantly injured that's gonna, need help for the rest of their life, it's gonna be a large claim. And that's where we've seen some larger claims in the municipal space. But yeah, that's a good point with Gloria there, is people do not sue for $500,000. It's usually large numbers. And then that takes 5 or 6 years to go through the courts and determine, how much they do get. And also the court costs associated with that would be covered under this.
Councillor Velikat.
Through the deputy, Ryan, so this just goes back to our previous delegation, the Quinny Field Naturalists. So
Yeah.
the lagoons are managed and insured by Aqua.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility of like an overarching, rider that would protect us, that if we decided to go down that road, where we would let people on there and we would be responsible as opposed to Aqua?
Yeah. So yeah, good point. We did discuss this again, like I think a year or two ago. We had a chat on it. The company is not going to come back and say, no, you cannot do that. What they're going to say is, here's maybe some, things that we should take into account. As far as the municipality wants to take on that liability, that's fine. However, here's, some things that you should do, and that would be a conversation we have, like, if we sat down, he mentioned a couple things there that, as far, if you're in a professional association and they carry their own liability for their operations, that was something that, under that bird watching association that they're involved in, things like that would help protect the municipality in case of a claim, something happens, they carry their own liability. It's no different than having, a third party come and do a job for you guys. They have their own liability to cover their own operations. As far as that conversation kind of ended when Aqua was the one that basically said they're not able to do that. If they say yes, that's fine. I don't foresee any issues or any additional premium associated with the policy to do that. But I think it's a good idea to come up with a plan, post necessary signs. He mentioned waivers. In my opinion and experience, the waivers are great to have, but they're not the full, it's not going to protect you 100%. But taking those necessary steps along with, having, like mentioned, the lock and key, things like that. I've never been to the lagoon. I don't know what kind of exposure's there, if there's cliffs, things like that, but these are where claims happen, and we have seen these a lot of time and time again. It's slip and falls, injuries. Oh, I tripped and fell and I have a broken leg. And then they're gonna, who put that rock there, or why wasn't that rock moved? And municipality could take on additional claims based on that. So I think anytime things like this come to the table, it's good to have a conversation with us and get our opinion on whether or not it makes sense. But I think if Aqua agrees to allow that happening, there's not going to be an issue on the company side.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? Seeing none. Well, thank you, Ryan, for helping us keep our costs at bay, even though they're staggering to start with. But anyways,
Yeah.
good work, and
Yeah.
hopefully we don't need to use you. As
Yeah.
bad as that sounds.
No, well, thank you. Appreciate the support. And we, like I said, it's
We do
our
need
flavor
a
here again.
vote.
And Merry Christmas, everyone. Mayor. Sorry we couldn't see you today. Hope you're feeling better.
Okay, just a second here before we end. So can I get be it resolved that council authorize the CEO treasurer to accept the 2025 insurance renewal? I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Valakat, Councillor Palmetier. All in favor? Okay. I was gonna say that's on there twice. Okay, that's fine. So all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Can I get a mover and a seconder for the statement of revenue and expenditures? Councillor Valakat, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions? Any questions, concerns on this? It's pretty well highlighted there. Nothing? Seeing none? Be it resolved that council receive the variance analysis report at November 30th, 2024 as presented. All in favor? Carried. Departmental reports. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the administration update as of December 4th, 2024? Councillor Palmetier, Councillor Valakat. She's got her task list moved up here. Gloria, if you did, you have anything to add in addition to what you have here?
The only thing that I would like to mention is that you'll see in the tasks for the pay grid and pay equity review, the tender did close with no submissions. I've reached out to 3 companies. We did get 2 quotes, and I will be awarding that today. I didn't get a chance yesterday with some other matters that had come up. And it does look like the consulting costs will come in below our original budget of 20,000. So that should be good. They're expecting to be completed by the end of February. So if we are not ready to pass our budget in January and want to wait, then we'd have a more accurate number in the 2025 budget for what the impact might be, as that assessment should be completed by the end of February.
Okay, so we put it out for tender and nobody submitted. Is it just that people aren't seeing it? Is that why they're not tendering?
Yeah, the 2 companies or the 3 companies I reached out to, they said they hadn't actually seen it. We did put it out on a couple of the public tender sites where people putting the tenders on don't have to pay to put the tenders on, but the companies who are looking for tenders to be able to bid on have to pay a membership fee for. We've used those sites numerous times in the past and they've worked for many other things. Normally they have in the past for pay equity for other municipalities. It might have just been the time of year, as it was put out end of October going into November. It could just be the timing. But I was still able to obtain 2 quotes. The third person said that they couldn't meet our timeline as they would need to go much farther into 2025 before they would be able to finish. And so they opted not to submit a quote.
Okay, council, any questions? No, I see nothing. Okay. Be it resolved that council received the administration department update as of December 4th, 2024 as presented. All in favor? Carried. Public Works Managers report. Okay, I'm a mover and a seconder. Do we do these 2 different motions? Okay. I have a mover and a seconder for the OSIM inspection summary. Councillor Valiquette. Councillor Palmetier. Anything that the Public Works Manager would like to add or draw our attention to there?
Through the deputy mayor to council, we have I'll just give you a brief summary. We've taken on 5 more culvert structures with the estimated and replacement life cost of about $5.28 million. I think that number is fairly exaggerated. We actually got one of these done for, I believe it was about 70,000 in the spring. But with that being said too, there will be a increase in cost with inspection and us maintaining these a little more thoroughly. So just so you're aware of that.
Council, any questions? None? Oh, deputy or mayor, sorry.
Sorry, thank you very much. I've asked the CAO in the preparation of our delegation report to Minister Surma and Minister Calandra and MPP Merritt Stiles and MPP Bonnie Crombie to ensure that we include our OSIM report as an appendix to this. I want them to, I want us to bring focus to the fact that we now have 4 bridges, really main bridges that are in need of immediate repair. And the fact that the tonnage on those has been reduced to 3. And also that this is what we have coming on the horizon. And there's no more dilly-dallying here. They have to come to the table because we are going to have to close bridges unless they come forward with the funds that we need to keep these bridges alive and to ensure that people can have access to an ambulance and access to a fire truck and access to a school bus. This is ridiculous. But anyway, we're going to include that. So the report has come at a good time. It'll give us extra meat that we can table with all of the 4 delegations that we are going to be requesting. So thank you very much for pulling that together, Ryan.
Thank you. Be it resolved that council accept the 2024 OSIM inspection summary as presented and that this report be included in the delegation meetings at Roma. All in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the Public Works Department update as of December the 10th, 2024? Councillor Palmetier, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions or concerns from council? Public Works Manager, anything to add other than what's in front of us?
I guess I'll just add that we've kind of brought a new app to the table for our night patrollers. There was concerns about checking in and working alone. We don't have a formal policy in place, so I thought a good idea I kind of work with staff on would be to get this check-in system so we get automated reports, not reports, but a check-in every 3 hours. So we know that staff are safe, they're not stuck in a ditch somewhere. So it's a very minimal cost. I believe it's $40 a month that we're going to be carrying until spring, and then we'll get rid of the app. So I believe it was about just over $300 for it. And then we know our workers are safe out there. So.
Okay, council, anything else? None noted. Be it resolved that council accept the Public Works Department update as presented. All in favor? Carried. Community Development. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the Community Development update? Counselor Valaket, Counselor Fleeler. Questions, concerns, anything on there? Nope, seeing none. Be it resolved that council receive the Community Development update as presented. All in favor? Carried. Fire Chief, Fire Department. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the Fire Department update December 10th, 2024. Counselor Valaket, Counselor Palmetier. Any questions, concerns? Council? None? Anything to the Fire Chief that's not on here that we want us to know about?
Through the mayor or deputy mayor, just I am working on you see in item 6 there, for the bill 228, just waiting to hear back because I want to talk to our zone reps and stuff from the M&R that we deal with in Halliburton area and stuff to find out what that actually affects in our personal area, because it's a big zone type thing and it's a big act, whatever. But I just want to make sure before I bring back a report to council that I know exactly what it's going to affect for our area, our whole wildfire area and stuff. So anyways, I will bring that back as soon as I get hear back from our friends in Halliburton, and we'll move over that. So, and also that emergency control group, we have got all that stuff back from our annual exercise and stuff, and we'll be putting our for compliance here the next week or so.
Okay, thank you very much. No other questions? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the Fire Department update as presented. All in favor? Carried. Lost my spot here. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the Animal Control Officer report? Counselor Valaket, Counselor Palmetier. Anything, questions or concerns? Seeing none. Be it resolved that council receive the November 2024 Animal Control and Livestock Investigation report as presented. All in favor? Carried. Policy review. Can I get a mover and a seconder for policy review, human resources policy? Did I skip anything? Nope. Oh, okay. Mover and a seconder. Counselor Palmetier, Counselor Fleeler. Questions or concerns on this policy, or Gloria, did you want to just give a quick synopsis of what?
So there's been no changes since it was brought in October, but at October time, it was requested by council for an additional time to consider the policy and to bring it back in December. So we have brought it back as it was shown before. A lot of the changes in some of the areas are more to update it and match it to what's been changed in the annual bylaw for salaries and wages when legislation changed and required a certain amount of family responsibility days to be provided and things like that. So a bunch of the changes are just more to match the policy to the new legislation that has changed in the last 10 years. There's been some changes in here as suggestions in hours of work, which you might want to wait until January to make a decision on. But most of the other changes are ones that are things that have already been discussed in previous meetings, requests for things to be added, such as the mandatory employee reviews being done by certain times. We've added in a request that vacation time be requested by a certain point in the year, so we know how to schedule our year by departments and make sure that we don't have all of a sudden in November, 5 people in one department needing to take 4 weeks of vacation, because then that means that an entire department's out. So it's things like that. So that way we can manage and ensure everything is done operationally effectively. But the hours of work, I would suggest that we don't make a decision on that one until January.
Okay, Counselor Valaket. or Counselor Fleeter, sorry.
We can go ahead.
No, he didn't have his arm, but I didn't see him.
Okay, through the deputy mayor, there's no mention in here about succession planning. I don't know if we adopt this policy, if that would be taken right off the slate or not, but
So succession planning isn't specifically noted in here because it's something that we always do. We're always training the staff that are interested in being able to move into newer positions, of getting them the necessary training they would need to be good candidates for it. The hiring process has been clearly stated. It's a policy that has been used for a while. It just hadn't been specifically written where any of your key positions, the management, are always publicly advertised, but we strongly encourage internal applicants and we try to get them the necessary training so that they would have a very good chance against any external applicants. Other positions, we always advertise internally first before we would go externally, unless it's something like a public works operator, because most of our public works operators already are doing that job. And so there's not necessarily an extra person who wants to step into that. And so we just do a public posting for those type of ones where we have multiple people doing one position. So it's not specifically written in here. You've never had a formal succession policy that's ever been documented with this municipality, but we do integrate it into the training that we provide to our employees.
okay. Okay, and
follow.
further to that, Deputy Mayor, on page 5 of 10, it appears that we're trying to split the shifts, like we're gonna have 2 shifts? What?
No, so the hours of work is one thing that I am suggesting that we do not discuss today, as there's some more information that needs to come. It just had not been in by the time that this report had been published to the agenda.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that whole hours of work section should wait until January.
Counselor Velikat, you had something?
The mayor to the CAO, is there something in here about splitting acting opportunities? Like if 2 people want, we're talking about succession management a little bit. Isn't there, did I read that in here? I can't find it now.
No, we don't have anything
Where did I-
formal. We do have the acting roles and responsibilities that the title for it is the bottom of page 4. And so the top part section of page 5 is the actual section where if somebody's in an acting position, they get compensated that additional amount for that. But we don't have a section here about specifically splitting it amongst more than one individual, which is something that we can definitely.
Well, it does say acting assignments will be carried out on a rotational basis.
Yes, so.
Kind of opens that up.
Yeah, largely that's for the departments where, like the Public Works, you have a lot more people you can choose from. Same with Parks and Rec, maybe not so much on a administration standpoint. There's just not as many staff, but yes.
And one other point through the deputy, just in new hires, should we put something in there? You have this offer is required to be signed prior to the start of any working shift, but if we have any training, like if people are doing WMIS training or anything that we have in-house, it should be a requirement that that's all completed before their first shift.
Yeah, we can add that in.
Okay, Counselor Fleeler?
Okay, through the deputy mayor, I'd ask that this whole thing be deferred till January. I don't see any way that we can pass part of it
Okay.
without passing the whole thing.
I tend to agree. There's a lot of changes here, and with some other additions that the CAO wants to make, it's probably something that we can take a closer look at and move forward. Anybody else? So Counselor Fleeter, are you motioning to defer?
Yes.
So Counselor Fleeter motions to defer.
You
Second.
already have a motion on the table
Oh,
with
sorry.
Councillor Palmetier and Councillor
yeah.
Fleeler.
So
So it could just say to receive this report and then that council defer any decision until, I'm not sure how she's writing it, but any decision until the January meeting.
Counselor Palmetier, are you okay with that?
Yeah, as long as we don't come back to it until we have that information about
Mhm.
the hourly stuff. So. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's okay with me.
Okay, Mayor, you're okay? Okay. All right, so So be it resolved that council receive the policy review human resources policy report as presented, and further that council defer any decision until the January 2025 meeting. All in favor? Carried. Bylaws. Can I get a mover and a seconder to, these are all three separate? Okay. To discuss bylaw number 2024-91, a bylaw to limit the gross vehicle weight of any vehicle passing over a certain certain bridges. Councillor Palmetier, Councillor Valaket. Discussion, concerns? None noted? Okay. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-91 be read a first, second, and third and final time passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 10th day of December 2024. All in favor? Oh, did you have a question? No? Okay. Carried. Bylaw number 2024-96, a bylaw to correct an error in bylaw 2009-26, being a bylaw for road widening purposes, and to repeal bylaw number 2009-26. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Valaket, Councillor Fleeler. Any discussion, questions? None noted. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-96 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 10th day of December 2024. All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 2024-97, a bylaw to authorize the deletion of an encroachment agreement at 325 Victoria Street North, Tweed. Mover and a seconder. Councillor Valaket, Councillor Fleeler. Any discussion? This looks like a really old agreement that isn't necessary anymore. No discussion? Be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-97 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, sealed in this open council this 10th day of December 2024. All in favor? Carried. So items for consideration. Sled Dog Sport Association of Southern Ontario. So this is coming from a previous delegation, so I'll just read it as it is. Abbey Falls of Sled Dog Sport Association of Southern Ontario attended as a delegation at the November 26th council meeting to make a request to council authorization to cross Stokoe Road during their event to be held February 1st through 2nd, 2025 at Stokoe Lake Lodge. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Valaket, what's your move? So Councillor Valaket moves to approve. Second, Councillor Palmetier. And any discussions? Councillor Fleeler.
Through the deputy mayor, I did ask that they contact the person. I just looked up the address at 189 East Hungerford Road. Oh, is it? Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Okay. My apologies.
Okay, Councillor Valaket, you had something?
To the mayor, to the CIO, I guess. We have a few things that have cropped up previously year after year, and we've decided to defer that to the authority of the department manager as opposed to bringing this to us all the time. I'm wondering if you can do the same thing with this.
Okay. No, it's okay. So for this year, it's on our table, but
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so through the deputy mayor to all of council, that is something that you could pass a bylaw to delegate that authority for events that will be temporarily using a part of our roads specifically for this. And we can list the specific one and leave it date open to whatever date if they need to adjust, because it is somewhat dependent on weather. That could be passed and brought forward at a future council meeting and be delegated down to probably the public works manager along with the CAO or whoever you'd feel is appropriate in that situation. Public works would definitely need to be involved as it is crossing the road, and they would need to ensure that all the necessary steps are done to ensure the snow is cleared back off the road. But that is something that can be done.
We do the same thing with the boat races.
yeah. Any other questions, concerns? Seeing none. Be it resolved that council approve the request to request to place snow for a road crossing of Stokel Road for the sled dog sport event February 1st and 2nd, 2025, subject to the terms and conditions outlined in the attached request to council. The only change from previous year is a request for a 2-hour extension of the event to end at 3 p.m. And further, that council adds a stipulation that the association is to contact the local equestrian farm as well as other farms in Stoker Road to make them aware of the event. And further, that council directs staff to prepare a bylaw to cover all future requests for road use events be delegated to the department manager. I think that covers pretty well everything. All in favor? Carried. You didn't have a question, Mayor, or you were just, okay. Previous request, Earl Alexander from a previous delegation. Earl Alexander attended the delegation regarding the windshield of his 2015 GMC Sierra truck being broken by a rock from a municipal vehicle. A quote has been received in the amount of $349 plus tax to repair the windshield. Can I get a mover and seconder to put it on the table to discuss? Councillor Valiquette. Mayor DeGenova. So okay, so your motion, Councillor Valiquette's motioning, his motion is not to approve. Any questions, concerns? Okay, none noted. Be it resolved that council do not authorize payment to Earl Alexander for his broken windshield in the amount of $349 plus tax. All in favor? Carried. Tweed Hungerford Agricultural Society. The Tweed Hungerford Agricultural Society requests for their events for 2025. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Valiquette, Councillor Fleeler. So any questions or concerns? Councillor Valiquette.
Through the deputy to somebody. Wasn't there a discussion last year after there were some issues with the fair on the parking lot of the arena that they would look at moving that out onto the grassy area as opposed to, and use that for parking?
Who are you directing? You're directing.
I'm not really
So
Michelle's not-
there was a
okay.
request that a site plan be reviewed and that the rules and regulations of what can and can't be done to the parking lot was to be addressed prior to the event. That was discussed at the last joint fairgrounds committee meeting that happened 3 weeks ago. So it is something that is on the table for the next set of meetings as to laying out exactly what site plan will be accepted and what can and can't be done, what needs to be kept open for the fire lane, as well as keeping that clear. They have a concern about actually moving everything into the actual grassed area. I can't remember what the concern was. It's possibly one of the
Just
councillors.
weather, if we get, like, during the regular fair in the summer, if we have extreme wet and having rides and stuff set up, not on a firm surface, but yeah. The CEO is correct, we are working on a framework so that we're both under the same understanding, so that there's no more disagreement on how these events are gonna be run on the shared property. So any comments would be great if you.
I have
Councillor
a
Valiquette.
comment, and
Okay.
I've taken the opportunity to go to a few fairs. I'm sure we all have. Most recent one, and I go to the one in Perth every year with my grandkids. It's on soft ground all the time, and it's very successful. And it would just avoid a lot of issues for us that we seem to run into if we could gently persuade them to put it somewhere that's less impactful on our property.
Okay. Mayor DeGenova.
Does Sterling also hold theirs in a field?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
I was just wondering, are there others? Maybe we could reach out to somebody we know and ask them, like, what has been their take when they have inclement weather or whatever happening on a fair day, just to get a sense of what they do, if they do anything.
One issue, if I may, through the deputy mayors, that they're working on right now is it's tile drainage out there. in that field to drain it. And there's an issue somewhere, but they can't find any old maps or anything. They were gonna contact the Heritage Center to see if they would have anything, from a previous council meeting. We weren't able to find it, but there's somewhere the tile drain has a blockage and it's kind of creating a wet spot on the one edge. So they are dealing with that. And I think if it was working, that there wouldn't be any issue.
Anything else? Counselor Fleeler.
Through the deputy mayor, I wonder if the person, the service provider would have a copy of that map, because he would have a. No?
I tried.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll try another one.
Anything else?
Trainer my job.
Okay, I'm seeing none. I jumped here. Be it resolved that council accept the request from the Tweed Hungerford Agricultural Society for their 2025 events based on an agreement being prepared between the Tweed Hungerford Agricultural Society and the municipality of Tweed, which will consider the fair taking place in the field area. All in favor? Carried. 13, marriage license modernization phase 2 report. A report to council with background material regarding the provincial marriage license modernization phase 2 agreement. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Valiquette, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions or concerns? Anything on here? Nothing, Lucas, nothing to add for something like that? Okay. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor to execute the phase 2 agreement with the province, and further that council direct staff to prepare a bylaw to adopt the phase 2 agreement with the province for January 7th council meeting. All in favor? Carried. Closed meeting. Be it resolved that council go into a closed meeting at 10:32. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Valiquette, Councillor Fleeler. We're going to close. Mayor is going to join us on phone.
Yeah, you can start. You can make your mic. Sorry.
Are we good? Okay. Notification of closed meeting and staff direction. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Palmetier, Counselor Fleeler. Be it resolved that staff follow council direction from the closed meeting. All in favor? Carried. Correspondence information. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Palmetier, Counselor Valaket. Anything here that you would like to pull out or speak to? So I just wanted to speak that the mayor spoke to the one address about possible permits for the Santa Claus parade that kind of creeped up on us, but it ended up, we just needed a letter of permission and we were, and that was granted, so it allowed us to proceed as normal, so that was good. Counselor Fleeter?
Through the deputy mayor, the OPP building, and I haven't found it here, but they've offered to reduce the rates by a certain amount, but I think as the AMO Association of Municipalities of Ontario should fight this thing to the end, my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
Like a little bit of gravy
Yeah.
isn't gonna fix anything.
Yeah, and we can speak more, Counselor Fleeter, on our budget when that comes up.
Mayor.
Oh, Mayor, sorry, go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention to follow up on Councillor Fleeler. This is not a long-term fix. This is a fix for 2025, which
Exactly.
means we will likely be hit in 2026 with having to repay, catch up with that 100 and what is it, 50,000 or 60,000 for us. So this is just an election ploy. Okay, because once in 2026, we're still going to have to come up with that amount. And that's why AMO, as Councillor Fleeler has said, is still fighting this, because not only in 2026 will we have to come up with the money that they are now covering for us for this year in 2025, but also whatever the increase in 2026 is going to be. So it's going to be a real messy situation. Thank you for raising that, Councillor Fleeler.
Yeah, anybody else? Nothing? Where is it here? Be it resolved that correspondence information be received in file. All in favor? Carried. Committee board minutes. Can I get a mover and a seconder for committee board minutes? Counselor Valaket, Counselor Fleeler. So are these both as one? Okay. So we have the joint fire from September 9th, 2024. And then we had the Fairgrounds Joint Committee from May 14th. Anything on there? Nothing? Be it resolved that council receive the committee board minutes as presented. All in favor? Carried. Conformatory bylaw. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Fleeler, Counselor Valaket. Be it resolved that the confirmatory bylaw number 2024-98 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, sealed, and open council this 10th day of December 2024. All in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Counselor Valaket, Counselor Fleeler. All in favor? Carried. Adjourned at 11:15.
Jacob, you missed out.
First time.
It's up.